In this video, I'm going to share with you a simple way to think about how to create a high converting lead magnet. Now, why is a lead magnet important? Well, because if you don't have a high converting lead magnet, then most likely you feel like the world's best kept secret. This is a frustration that I see with many coaches I talk to, many of our students when they first start with us. They don't have a big enough audience, they don't have engagement on social media, and a lead magnet is designed to magnetically attract your ideal client, your dream client, into your funnel so that they get warmed up into the conversation of working with you. So if you're with me on this video right now, do me a favor and just comment live if you're watching this video live, or if you're watching the replay, comment replay just so I know that you're with us. So I want to share my screen to show this to you. If you do have a high converting lead magnet, then of course the possibility or what's available is that you'll be able to start growing your email list. You'll be able to start attracting your ideal clients on your email list, into your Facebook group, into your funnels, so that they get warmed up to work with you. Ron, thank you for being here. Really good to see you. All right, guys, without further ado, I'm going to dive right in. Let me share my screen. I want to make sure that you guys can see this. So I'm testing a new technology, so just bear with me for a moment. But I'm going to share my screen. And Ron, the rest of you, let me know if testing a new technology. Marie, good to see you. Let me know if this is working for you. Can you see my screen? Give me a yes in the chat if you can see it. Hopefully you can. I know we've got 6 of you on here right now. Marie, great to see you. Ron, the rest of you, yeah, let me know if you guys can see this. I think we're good to go. So here's how you want to think about your lead magnet. Number one, you want to make sure to create a lead magnet that is useful and relevant to your ideal client. A mistake that many coaches make is they make a lead magnet that's interesting to them, but it's not interesting to their ideal client. And this is one of the biggest challenges that we're going to face as coaches, because we love coaching, we love our process. And so we think that whatever we're passionate about is what our clients are going to be passionate about, and it's not necessarily the case. So before you even think about what your lead magnet should be, it's important to identify who you're offering that to and the journey that they're taking. So a simple way that I like to think about this, and guys, as you hear takeaways here, do me a favor. If you hear distinctions or ahas, for those that are not with us live right now, will you, for those of you that are with us live, will you comment any takeaways or distinctions so that the people can watch the replay and just get the nuggets from it? So step number one is to define what is the one specific painful problem that you solve for your clients? What is the one specific painful problem? So that's where you start. We've got a dot here, and we've got a dot here. And dot number one is the problem. You want to make sure that when you create a lead magnet, it addresses the most painful problem that your clients have. Why? Well, because humans, as we are wired, are often more motivated to avoid pain than we are to experience pleasure. So even the pleasure is, even though it's really important, it's critical that you address the problem first. Number two is the promise. What is the promise that you're making your ideal clients? All right. And you want to make sure to design a lead magnet that can help this person go from the problem that they're in to the promise that you're making. Now, does it have to take people all the way across here? Well, eventually your coaching will do that. The lead magnet doesn't have to do that. I think that's asking a little bit too much for a lead magnet. And speaking of a little bit too much, this is a mistake, guys, that many coaches make, is they create a lead magnet where they try to put all of their best stuff into a lead magnet. Maybe it turns out to be a 4-part video series, and each video is like 30 minutes long. I know I did that for one of my first lead magnets when I was doing health and wellness coaching. The problem with that was it was too much information and nobody ended up consuming what they were learning from me. So we start with thinking about what's the problem that they're facing, what's a promise that you're making. Then we look at what's the process that you're taking people through. What is the journey? That's ultimately what this black line is is it's a process, right? This whole thing is your coaching process. It's the 12-step program or the 6-week program, whatever it is, to go from where your clients are to where they want to be. Now, the most important and most overlooked aspect of this entire journey as it relates to creating your lead magnet is what? It's the person you're offering this to, right? If you don't have a clearly defined niche, if you don't have a super hyper specific niche, and you're not speaking to the problems that they're having or making the promise that they want based on the results that they're looking for, then it's going to be really hard to create a lead magnet that converts. A lead magnet alone is not going to generate leads for you. You need a lead magnet that enters the conversation that's happening in their mind that is relevant to that one person, not relevant to everyone. If you try to generalize your lead magnet to make it be everything to everyone, then no one will listen. If you're a student of mine, Ron, I know you are. I can't see who else is on this video, but for the rest of you that are students of mine, you know the importance of narrowing your niche. For those of you that are not yet students, but you're in this Facebook group, it's critical that you think about the person that you're speaking to, the problem that you're solving, the promise that you're making, and the process that we take them through. And then from there, once you're clear on those 4 things, we call those the 4 Ps, then you can start thinking about your lead magnet. Now, what should your lead magnet be? Simply put, there's two places that you could consider creating a lead magnet. One is you could create it here, or you could create it here. And this would be maybe the first step somebody takes to get out of the problem that they're in. And this would be the last step. These 2 places are where your lead magnet should be created. I'll give you a perfect example. One of our highest converting lead magnets is a sales script. Some of you know this, some of you have downloaded this. If you haven't, then go look at our welcome post here. It probably has a link to it. Maybe I'll even drop in a link here later for you to look at it. But it's a word-for-word sales script that we give away for free. It teaches coaches exactly what to ask and what to say during enrollment calls to enroll high-ticket clients. Pretty valuable lead magnet, right? For some people, this is the first step on their coaching journey, right? In order for them to get their first or next coaching client, well, they need to know how to have the enrollment conversation, right? And if there's one skill that I would advise you to develop and to master, more important than lead generation, more important than anything else, it's enrollment. Because if you can't enroll a client into their vision, if you can't enroll a client into the program of working with you, then how are you going to help them, right? So that's often the first step for some people. For some of our other students, we've got coaches that are already making $5,000 or $10,000 a month, and we're helping them scale. Well, enrollment wouldn't be the first step, but it would be the last step. Why? Because what they need help with right now is how to generate leads and how to grow their audience, but they also need help with enrollment, which is why this one lead magnet is so powerful. It addresses the first step somebody takes to get out of the painful problem that they're in, and it addresses the last step somebody takes to get into the powerful promise that they're wanting. So that's what I want you to think about. So if you are a health and wellness coach, or you're a financial coach, or you're a life coach, or you're a relationship coach, you do not want to build a lead magnet around your process. Why? Because nobody cares about your process. I'm not discounting your process of coaching. It is incredibly important. It's what delivers results for your clients, but they don't care about the process. What they care about is these 2 things, the problem and the promise. And if your lead magnet can address the first step out of the problem or the last step into the promise, guess what? And you've got the right messaging, right? We're assuming that we've got the right messaging, targeting the right person, you've got a high converting lead magnet. Now, how do you, and guys, is this helpful? Give me a yes if this is actually useful to you guys. How do you know if something's high converting? A simple metric that we use, and this is kind of a baseline, right? This is kind of the bare minimum of where you want to be, is you want to have a lead magnet that converts at 20%. Write that number down. Go ahead and comment in the chat here so that everyone can hear that 20%. That means for every 10 people that land on your lead magnet opt-in page, you want 2 people to opt in. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, Peter, listen, that sounds horrible. 20%, come on, I know I can do better than that. Maybe you can, but imagine these are people that have never heard of you before. They don't recognize your name. They've never watched a video of yours. They've never consumed a piece of content. Most likely, they don't know, like, and trust you yet. So of those people that have never heard of you before, 20% is actually a really good number. If you can get to 20% on cold traffic into an opt-in, you've got the start of a high converting lead magnet. Now, of course, you don't want to stay there, right? You want to go beyond that. Our lead magnet right now, one of them, the sales script, is converting about 70%. I don't recommend that you try to shoot for that out of the gate. That's a really, really, really high converting lead magnet. But to work your way up to that is great. We've got another one that's converting around 50%, right? But start with 20%. That's how I want you to think about it. Little takeaway I would just want you to leave you with is I'd like for you to comment on this video. What is your lead magnet? What's the title of it? What's the name of it? What's the promise? So that you can get feedback from me and our team here, and we can help you come up with the highest converting lead magnet you possibly can use. I know some of you are students of mine. You get to get my personal feedback on everything on our Fearless Coach Academy calls. But for those that are not, if you just want to drop ideas here and get support from the whole group, that's what this group is for. So big takeaway is this, is if you don't have a lead magnet, then most likely you're going to feel like the world's best kept secret. You're going to continue to share a message, but you're not going to get the response that you're wanting. If you want to be a very successful coach and work through this crisis right now when there's tremendous uncertainty, it's time to build the skills of creating the systems and the tools to start growing your audience. And there's no faster way, guys, to do that than a high converting lead magnet. So that's my recommendation. If you have questions, comment below. I got to sign off because I've got a bunch of coaching calls today. So this is Peter Scott reminding you to be here, act now, and fear less.